And now we're just going to start building some other items. So we're going to start with the lantern, and always go back to the references if you're stuck, or you don't know what to do or how to build the shapes. That will always help you. So I'm just using the rectangle tool here. And you can see, if you're not sure of the center, it'll tell you the center. It'll tell you there. So that's why smart guides are awesome to use. It's too thick. And you want to make sure all the stroke is the same size. So sometimes when you're using these shapes, you can see how it's different. Or when you scale it, it will change it. This is because when you go to transform, you can see it says scale strokes and effects. So this is a cool tip. When you have your transform panel, when you select an object or a path, you want to tick this off if you want. And what it's going to do, it's going to keep the point weight the same. So you can see if I keep it on 2 points and I scale it, it's not going to up the stroke width. It's going to keep it at that same stroke width. So if I go really small, it's going to keep the same stroke width. So just keep that in mind when you're working with this. You can also just turn it on, and actually just, if I scale it up now, you can see how it buffs it up. That's what scaling strokes does. But you can always go back and just bump it down to the one you want, which is, I'm working with 4 point at the moment. So we've got that. And then you can always just fix it up, which is pretty sweet. Cool thing about doing icons is that you can play around with so many different colors and effects. You can use just simple shapes, and it doesn't take too long. I'm just rounding this corner off. You can see that if you're in CC, you'll get these little points, and if you just press the direct selection tool, and then if you click and drag the little button there, the white dot, you can actually round it off like that, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to round it off because the lantern has like a glass bit, so that's pretty sweet. I'm just holding Alt when you see I'm dragging those boxes out. So when you hold Alt, it actually keeps the proportion. And if you hold Alt and Shift, it keeps the proportion even stricter. So like it keeps it to a 90-degree angle or 40-degree angle. Also when you rotate, you can hold Shift and it's going to rotate it like that. Really nice. So always keep that in mind when you're doing the shapes. It makes it just easier instead of just dragging it out and trying to get it perfect, because it won't end up being perfect. So you can just select it all and then keep the stroke one width, so it starts to look normal. Then I'm going to use that. And then you can just press A for the direct selection tool, or it's up there in the left corner. It's the white one. V is for the just normal selection tool. So I'm going to press A again, select the 2 anchor points at the top here, and then just drag these in, and then boom, you got like this half ellipse, which is pretty sweet. And then I'm going to make the point there, just like that. So we got this weird looking lantern. I might actually get rid of this. Actually, we'll make it, bump it down, make it smaller. And then you can see if we don't want this lines in the background, you can just select these shapes, We can always go back and edit it later, but you're just going to fill it with a white. And then bring it to the front. So press Control Shift right square bracket, and that's going to bring it to the front. And if you do the opposite, left square bracket, it's going to bring it to the back. So that's a good thing. You can just add a fill, and we can play around with those later. So, you know, we've got a cool little lantern. I guess it sort of looks like a lantern. You can also use the eyedropper tool as well. I'm just going to edit this, and you can select the stroke, and what it does is copies it. So even if you have a stroke with a different color or whatever, you can actually select, press I for the eyedropper tool and select that, and it's going to copy that color and that stroke width, which is an awesome tool as well. I love doing that. I might just copy this one up and just make it a bit, actually, yeah, that looks pretty cool. So you can see I'm just copying shapes over and over again and then lining it up. Another cool thing is if you press Control Y or Command Y, you can go into outline mode. You can also go View and then outline mode as well. Where is it? Yeah, so this is outline mode. Which means, so you can also go to View and outline mode, and what it does is it allows you to see all the strokes, which is pretty sweet. So you can see a bird's eye view of where all the paths are. So you can always line it up. You can see how I've lined this up, so I know it's, you know, perfect on that stroke. And that's why guides are important. So you can see you can drag that back out. If you select the 2 points again and drag the circle, you can see it's rounded corners. So you can make it straight again. I'm not liking this. It's looking funny. You can also use the Pathfinder tool. You can see how I did that. I've got a shortcut on F2, but you can also go to Pathfinder and you can select this and go Unite. This first button is Unite, so there's other shape building tools here as well, which is pretty sweet. So I can unite that, and maybe I want to round this off like that, which might be handy, but kind of not liking that. So I guess I'm just going to leave that for now. I'll just make this a bit thicker. And we'll just leave that. Yeah, that looks fine. It's got our lantern there. Actually, I might gonna add a flame. So, always using the center point as a reference. I'm just using the pen tool now. Selecting it. I'm going to press O for the reflect tool. Find my mouse on that anchor point. And then hold Option or Alt. And then you get the reflect tool up just like this. Press preview, and we're going to do vertical. You can select horizontal as well, but vertical is fine. And we're just going to press copy. So now I made a copy. select them both and go to the Pathfinder tool again on the right and select that. So now we have a flame here. Just going to bump that up. So we're just going to make sure all these are the same weight. Just like that. Yeah, sweet. So we've got that. And yeah, so we're going to move on. We'll do a sleeping bag now.